Okay guys, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about tower functionality and why certain things are important to have on your bases and good and bad setups for your bases. We're going to be using Sam's big account again. It's her level 48 base. And she has a little bit of work to do on her account, so it's not perfect, but we're going to help her and move some things around and explain why things are in good and bad places. First thing I want to talk to you about when it comes to your base is the biggest island of your base. This island, none of the towers are movable. They're all stationary, and they're all general functioning towers. They don't have any attacks. They don't have any defenses. They're just there for training and breeding dragons and things of the sort. The first building we're going to talk about is going to be your breeding castle. Inside your breeding castle is where you go into breed your dragons from each color tier. Every base starts out in the red tier with the lowest level dragons. As you level up your base, you want to make sure your dragons level up with your base. My personal recommendation is to not level your base past the functionability of your dragons and their capability of attacking. Everyone starts out in the red tier, and then you move past red into purple. The best dragon to use in the red tier is going to be Kanara, and I recommend keeping that for probably up until level 25-ish. You can still use it. Sometimes a little bit past that, depending on how far you level your dragon or not. So in the breeding tower, you see that the dragons go in different levels. They're color classified. There are different types of dragons in each class, but you can just see that the bigger dragons go in the next color tier, so you go from red to purple to blue and so on, leading all the way up to obsidian, which is the strongest tier of dragons that you can breed on your own. And those are fairly new. They're here at the end. They're the strongest ones, and it takes a long time to get to those. You also have the availability of divine dragons. Divine dragons are earned through events, and I talked a little bit about that in the other video. So Sam only has a couple of her divine dragons. She has Spindra from this season. She has Zamorak from last season. Each dragon has its own special capabilities. These dragons are not able to be bred. But the good thing about these dragons is once you have them, they are completely beast mode and destroy pretty much everything. A couple of you have battled with me and have seen some of the damage that legendary dragons can do. This is super important to pay attention to the divine dragons in the events and making sure you get their stones, so that way when you level them up, they can evolve and they're not capped at level 7. The next tower we're going to talk about is going to be your incubator. Your incubator is where you hatch your dragons. Most of you are to the point where you know this already and how to hatch dragons. Upgrading your incubator is super important because you cannot level up your dragons or incubate eggs past the level of your incubator. So level 1 is red, level 2 is purple, and so on. They follow the tier. Sam is at level 4, so she cannot incubate any eggs past the orange tier. Then you have your Dragon's Den, which is where you train your dragons. This is another super important tower to keep upgraded because your dragons are trained in your Dragon's Den. So when you reach a new level, you are training your dragon. But if your Dragon's Den is not upgraded to certain levels, then certain dragons won't be able to level up past that. So you just want to make sure that you keep it upgraded. Your warehouse is another super important thing to upgrade because the bigger that it is, the more resources that it holds. Sam's is leveled up to level 11, and it caps out at 117k of each resource, which is a whole lot. This is your builder's hut here. This is what keeps you able to upgrade the rest of your towers, your attack and defense towers on your islands. If you don't level this up, then you're not going to be able to level up your towers past a certain point. For example, you see here on this farm that it's at level 10 and it can't be upgraded any farther until she upgrades her builder's hut. This is the research hall. Here in the research hall is where you go in and research certain things. It is super important to go in and do your research, because as you research, you unlock better things, and it makes your dragons and your towers stronger. For example, this is Enhanced Healing Mark, and it gives you a 20% bonus to the Healing Mark spell. Some of the other ones that are early on is the Economic Improvements, which gives you 5% on each farm production rate on top of what each farm already generates and gives you as you level it up. So make sure that you keep up on your research, and that is really going to help you and your dragons as far as being able to attack and defend your island. Research is done with eggs, bonus eggs, extra eggs that you have from breeding. Sometimes when you breed something, you'll breed a purple dragon. When you're going to breed a purple dragon, you'll breed 5 red eggs before you get the 1 purple egg that you want. The extra eggs are used for research. You can see here Sam is in the blue research tier using blue dragons. She is not researching anything at this moment, which she should be, and she can't research anything because she needs to update her research tower. So it's telling you here that her Hall of Research needs to be at level 3, and it's not. Her Hall of Research is only at level 2. She has plenty of eggs to do it, but she just needs to upgrade it. The last thing on this island that is able to be upgraded and used functionally is going to be the Forge. Upgrading your Forge is going to give you better options of things that you can create inside the Forge. Here Sam is using the Forge to make healing potions, which is something that I use it for all the time because I use a lot of the dragons over again before their healing time is up. As you upgrade your Forge, you're able to unlock more items. You see here you can upgrade into making speed ups and armors and defenses, and this is also where you can make bonus spells. Once Sam upgrades to level 4, she'll be able to unlock the last 3 things, which are food and wood boosts, and then the 12-hour speed up. So she has everything in here that she can make. And it also shows you everything else, tower HPs, bonus spells, and things that you can equip to the dragons, just like you could the Inner Fire, things like that. It tells you on each item what the forge time is and how many you own, and then you can also click the information button, and it tells you what the each individual item does. The defense hammer, in this case, repairs your towers when you're defending a base. And a couple of you have heard me say to do your breeder missions to get extra eggs. This is the Zeppelin that has the breeder missions inside of them. Once you open it up, there are 3 different stages of missions. There are the basic missions, the advanced missions, and the elite missions. Each set of missions gives you a bigger amount of eggs as you go up. So it tells you here, like her first one that she needs to do is inflict a certain amount of damage with this certain dragon, and then once she completes that, she gets 20 tokens. Now these reset after a certain amount of time. The first ones I think are just a couple hours, and then like the time gets bigger as it goes up. So that's where you can get bonus eggs. They reset several times throughout the day, and I recommend saving them and using them during the breeding event, just breeding a couple of good dragons to use. We'll get to that later on because you guys are all mostly lower level. Off to the side of each island is going to be a tower used for boosting and defending this island. Also, if you destroy these towers during attacks, this is where you get chests and bonus things like timers and bonus spells and things like that. When you open the statues on the side, it tells you what the name of it is. This one is just the statues, and it has where you can equip runes and you can equip boosts. So depending on what towers you have on each island is going to depend on what runes you equip to the statues. I don't recommend equipping any runes at all until you're a higher level, because you're going to be moving things on your base around a lot. The only thing that she has needed on this island are runes for the lumber mills and the farms. And then you can go into the boost tab, and in each boost tab it gives you the option to boost your tower attack and your tower HP. So you're going to get a 30% boost on all of the towers for their health and their shot damage. She's not currently boosted, but she could. She owns 254 and then 229. So it's going to show you in each of your things where the how many of them you own and so on. So that's the statues that protects. When you highlight it, it shows you how much of the island it protects. This one, it just protects this whole long island. But then when you come over to the lighthouse, it's just, you know, just the lighthouse island here. It's this little island here, and it shows you. It's going to highlight it in green. Now, when you come over to the next long island, because it's broken up into two chunks, you're going to have two different statues to use. This is going to be the Guardian statues, which is going to use for the first half of your island, and then you're going to go to the Tower of Learning for the second half of your island. None of you should be building past that, because that's going to make your base expand way too far, and we want to build our bases stronger, not longer. On each tower, you have the ability to activate a super shot, and each super shot is going to do something different. Farms and mills, their super shot, you can pull it up in the info. Their super shot is going to be a healing of neighboring towers. So when you heal the towers around you, it brings up the health of the tower to keep it from being destroyed so fast. Another tower that she has here on this island is a Red Mage Tower. Red Mage Towers are super, super important to have on your island, along with Blue Mage Towers, because they stop rage generation from dragons coming in to attack your base, and they also block the use of spells. Red Mage Towers block red spells, Blue Mage Towers block blue spells. When you open up the information tab here, it tells you what the health of each tower is and what the special attack power is, and then also the special abilities and what the super shot does. So like I said, red blocks red, blue blocks blue. Once a dragon is hit with a rage block super shot from one of the mage towers, they will not be able to generate rage coming into the island. Now, whatever rage that they have in their rage bar already, they'll be able to use, but they won't be able to make any more. As far as basic towers go, one of the first towers you unlock is an archer tower. In this archer tower, you can pull up the information again, and it's going to tell you what the attack and what the health is, and then what the special attack power is. The special attack for an archer tower is a flaming arrow. It deals a significant amount of damage to anything that it hits. Archer towers also have the fastest shot on them, so they're going to hit the dragons first from anything on the island. The next tower that you're able to unlock from there is a cannon tower. Cannon towers are also extremely important to have on your base, because they, when their super shot is activated, breaks the shield of any dragon in the area. So once you activate the super shot of the cannon, if the dragon is coming into the island shielded, the shield will just disintegrate. It just breaks, and then it's not useful anymore, and then the dragon is going to continue to take damage. The next available tower is, I do believe, a ballista. Ballistas are garbage. Let me see. Let me see what Sam has for ballistas. Okay, so she has one here. Okay, so this is a ballista. It's a little under construction, apparently. Ballistas are the worst towers to have. They have the least amount of attack, the least amount of health, and their super shot is junk. All it does is poison a dragon. I recommend only building one. Just one, only enough to get the mission points that you need, and then completely, immediately storing it away. So once you build it, just store it, and then never use it again. The next tower that you're going to unlock from there is going to be a storm tower, which I think actually comes before the ballista. Storm towers are super, super fantastic, and they're super helpful. They have one of the best super shots in the whole game, and they're one of the best towers in the whole game. The super shot for a storm tower is to shield all the buildings around it, making it invincible. So until the storm tower is destroyed, any of the towers surrounding the storm tower are going to be called invincible buildings, and then it's going to be super hard to destroy them. So towers, those, when you're attacking a base, are going to be one of the first things you want to take out. As you grow in level and as you play more, you're going to learn a strategy on what you want to use to take out the bases. Now, this storm tower is the first of elemental towers that are released. That way, as they come out, elements, they're not projectiles. So when you're attacking a base, you're going to have different spells, like Wind Wall is one of the basic spells. I think the first dragon that you get it on is Arborus, and it's really not a very good spell, but in this case, I'm going to explain it to you. Wind Wall will stop any projectiles coming at you, but it does not affect elemental towers. So if you have cast Wind Wall on your dragon, it's going to stop cannonballs or arrows from the archer towers, but your dragon is still going to take the damage from the storm tower. Now, there are spells that stop elemental towers from attacking them, and that's going to be things like Elemental Mayhem, and there's a couple of other ones. So if you cast Elemental Mayhem, or the attacker casts Elemental Mayhem, the storm tower is going to be affected. There are a couple other elemental towers that you will get to as you level up, and one of the first ones I do believe you get is the ice turret. Ice turrets are also really good towers to have because they shield the surrounding buildings, and they also slow your dragon's attack down and its ability to cast a shield. Lightning towers come up too, and they are also elemental towers. They do not fire projectiles, so they are affected by elemental spells as well. Lightning towers are okay to have. They do have the longest shot range of any of the other towers. They're not very strong on their own, so if you are going to build them, you want to build them in either 2 or 3. I don't recommend building any more than 3 in your total layout of your base. They're not super strong, like I said, unless they're paired together. And they have, their super shot is combined lightning, which takes the power from all 3 towers and uses that to attack a dragon. Another elemental tower that you're going to be able to build is going to be the fire turret. And the fire turret is super good because it increases damage dealt to the dragon from the time it takes the shot until the dragon dies. So any damage dealt to the dragon after it's attacked by a fire turret is going to be higher, regardless of which tower it is, even if it's a piece of crap ballista tower, which I hate, so please don't build them on your bases. I think that's all Sam has. Oh no, she has a dark flak tower. So a dark flak tower is going to be the first flak tower that you're going to be able to build. It takes the... oh, what are they called? I think they're just called elemental shards to build. You get them from events. You can't build this tower until you get into the 40s range. And this is also an elemental tower, so it is affected by elemental spells. The good thing about this is it stuns a dragon. It has a better stun than, say, the trebuchet would, which that's what the trebuchet does, is it stuns dragons. And it is a better... it's a better version of that. But if you're going to have them on your island, don't have trebuchets. So until you get to that point, you can build 1 or 2 trebuchets. That's a good idea, but I wouldn't build any more than that. And then once you unlock the dark flak, I would completely store your trebuchets away and not use them anymore. The reason I say Sam's base needs a little bit of work is because she has a couple of things here that I think could be placed better. The one thing that she does have that I really, really like, and that's a super good idea, and I know a couple of you have seen it on my middle base, my Flamekeeper base, is called the Rage Drain Island. And what that island does is as the dragon comes into attack, as the super shots are activated, it keeps the dragon from generating and building any rage past that island until that effect wears off. So as they defeat the towers on this island, they're going to come into the next one, and they're not going to be able to use any of their attack or defense spells that they have. So no shields, no fireball, nothing like that, because they're going to be blocked. If you build a Rage Drain Island, I recommend keeping the Rage Towers at a low level, at a level 1. Sam did good with that. They're just at low levels, because if you build them anything past a level 1, I think the highest I've seen where it's just a one-shot kill is 20-something, but that's with a super big, fully leveled, powerful Necrix. And the reason you want to keep those low is because you want them to be able to be destroyed in one shot after they get the super shot off to the dragon, because if they don't destroy them, then the dragon is able to be tethered to that island, and they're able to regenerate their rage faster once that spell wears off. So I'm sure you've noticed as you attack, if you don't kill all the towers on one island, it slows your dragon's speed down until you get past like the end of the island, and then it speeds up a little bit. So if these towers are able to be destroyed in one shot or fairly quickly, then it's not going to be able to tether the dragon to the island, and they're not going to be able to use that rage any faster, and it's not going to build up any faster. So, and the next thing that she has that's also a really good idea is even though she built the Rage Drain Island, when they come into the next island, their rage is still going to be blocked by the mage towers on the next island, allowing them to not shield and not use anything. Kanaris is one of the divine dragons that has what they call Earthquake. It is a super awesome spell, and it completely destroys everything on one island. So Kanaris is not going to be able to use that spell on this island because she has a red mage tower, and that's going to keep her from casting that red spell, allowing her to still take the damage from the fire turret and then the 2 cannons. And I do recommend on every single island that you build to have a storm tower to protect all the rest of the towers on it. Now this is a fairly decent setup. Sam is still working on things. Like I said, we screwed our bases up because we didn't have the guidance when we first started, so we didn't really know what we were doing until recently when we've gotten better and learned more things. Let me see what else I can explain. Oh, and here's another thing. This is another really cool thing that you can build. There are dragon perches. You can build them around your island. They take the black pearls to build. You get black pearls from the chest I told you about in the events, and sometimes they're event prizes. That is the only way to get them. You cannot buy them. You cannot get them from attacking bases. Nothing like that. You have to get them through events only. Now, as you upgrade your perches, you can put better dragons. So level 1 perches, you can only put red dragons, and so on and so forth. So as you upgrade your perch, you're going to be able to put better dragons on it. Sam has Arborus on hers. She could upgrade it again and put a bigger, better dragon, but that's what she chooses to keep there. This dragon can be used as an attack boost, like during wars and events. That's the only time I recommend feeding it, other than breeding events, or not breeding events, but training events. We'll get to that later. Once you feed it, you can feed it, and it's going to give, so when you feed it just the first time, it's going to give an hour and 35 minutes of 25% extra attack for that island. So that dragon is going to be able to fire and attack on any other dragons coming through there until that perch is destroyed. And a couple of you have activated water dragons. Here's a really cool thing about the water dragon is as you're defending or as your base is being attacked, if you kill dragons while you're defending or while your base is being attacked, you earn 1 kill that counts towards the water dragon. So you have to get 20 total to activate the water dragon, and then after that you get the water dragon. So you'll have him for 2 uses after you activate him, and then you have to get another 20 dragons over again. If you're in wars and things, this dragon is super awesome. This shrine levels itself up. You can't do it on your own, and it levels up as you level up. So Sam's is only at level 1. I think mine on my big base is at level 11. I'm not sure why mine's different than hers, but it changes. And it will show you in here the last defenders of your base, the last 5 defenders for however long, for however many days, however many attacks or defenders that you have had. And the cool thing is as you're defending people on your team's bases, then those dragons destroyed defending those base counts towards your water shrine, along with the person whose base you're defending. And you also get prizes while you're defending other people's bases as well. So I recommend anytime a defend pops up, help your teammates out, get the defend, try to kill dragons, things like that. Because it's going to benefit you and your teammates, and a defense could be the difference between winning or losing a war or an event. As you have seen during this particular event, if you defend, then it can keep the other team from winning the total amount of points and stealing your flag faster. As far as any other towers, nobody is high enough to have the fire flak or the ice flak tower. The ice flak tower is going to be new, so nobody has that yet, and it's coming out soon. But I have not heard good things about the fire or ice flak tower, so they're not super duper important. If you guys have any other questions about anything that I haven't explained, or you need to know anything more, there are notes posted in the Dragon's Den group on our line group, and you could always ask me, Sam, any of the officers, and we will answer the questions for you as best as possible. Remember, when you're building your bases, you want to build your bases strong, not long. Don't expand your base any farther than what is good defense for your teammates or yourself to defend. I wouldn't recommend building it any bigger than what Sam has hers down to this last island, and you shouldn't be building past this first island, possibly the second, unless you are above, I want to say a level 35 to 40. I wouldn't expand any farther than that. Your main focus on your islands is going to be upgrading the towers that you already have. And then as you expand your islands, you're not going to build more towers, you're just going to move your towers around. Like I said, if you guys have any more questions or need to know anything else, if this doesn't cover some of the things that you've been wondering, or I need to explain something a little bit better, please just ask any of the officers, me or Sam, and we'll be able to help you and hopefully be able to get you set on the right path. That way you don't completely wreck your base like I did and have to rebuild it and start over, which is why I have multiple accounts, because I screwed up my first one. Anything else you guys need, like I said, just ask. That's not a problem at all.